So we can talk about Etsy first. Putting things on Etsy. Uh, I see the perks of it, of being that putting it on there, you can get advertisement traffic coming through there. They really push. They have a lot more people going through there than you would say your website because you can't get people to go to it. Um, so that's why I use Etsy, and then they're also have a form of brokering the money going through it as well. So that way you can get it in there without credit cards and other fees that you would take care of. They take care of all that and put it into it. So um, I have a couple things on Etsy.
Yeah, Etsy did really well for me over the holidays. The thing about Etsy is it seems a lot more cumbersome than a regular website. I guess it depends on what platform you're using to get the listings on there. Like you have to follow their categories and you have to jump through all the hoops and do all the things. And for myself, that makes me tend to be a little bit lazy in that department. Be like, oh, I'll put it on later. I need to go do this other stuff. Oh, I didn't get that. I'll do it later. I need it. Well, you're not going to sell anything if you don't post anything. So I've been trying to be better about making the time to sit down and actually put the listings out there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so
Well,
it,
since you got a spreadsheet, maybe you need to do a little whiteboard or something, to remind me.
I'm going to show you a spreadsheet, Joey.
Got your spreadsheet right.
Right here.
I've actually got a question for all you guys since you sell on Etsy. So
Mhm.
obviously, Jake, you've just started yours, so you've obviously got your molds on there. Joey, do your 3D printed, generally your laser map with your stuff. But you do molds on and other stuff as well. So
Mhm.
my question is there's thousands and hundreds and whatever how many other people doing exactly the same stuff as you.
Mhm.
What sort of stuff can you do or do you do that makes your stuff stand out so you're able to get above everybody else to sell your stuff?
Um, I think good photos. You probably just starting off, maybe do some advertisement to get it out there, and then once you get some people to actually buy it, and then the other part of that is the quality. Make your stuff good. Don't just put like 3D printing. There's everybody and their dogs doing it,
Yep.
right? It's going to be a unique item and the quality, how you're making it, what kind of materials are you using, what's going to set you apart from the other person that's selling it at the same price or trying to compete with somebody that's doing it cheaper,
Yeah.
because that's the biggest thing. Is you get on Etsy and you see some of these things. That's the biggest problem that I first had, was like, man, how am I going to compete with that person that's selling the same item, even though it doesn't look the same, but the same item for $10 cheaper than what I'm doing? And I'm like, there's no way I could make any money. And what I did was, just from the get go, is like, this is what I need to sell it for. Right. And I know this is going off track of what you're asking, but you can't go in there and try to compete with some people because you don't even know who you're competing. It could be some big corporation that's able to, by selling in big amounts, they're making a profit. They're okay with making $1 profit or $2 profit off of each one. As a small business, we can't. We can't have that. There's just no way, because by the time you figure in, you know, shipping material, your time, the equipment, everything, it's all got to be accounted for. And if you're not making a decent amount of profit on it, there's just no reason to do it. But back to what you were asking, it's the quality. I look at what I'm putting out. If I don't like it, because I'm very particular on things that I have in my shop, if I don't like it myself, I'm my own worst critic. If I don't like it, it's not going out
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
there. And I have had nothing but 5-star reviews. And me, I'm just not trying to toot my own horn, but that helps you. You want to have that, because you get those 5-star ratings. I wish they could 10, but they can't. That helps your store, and that will in turn have Etsy recommend your products more, and they stand out over all the other ones that are selling them cheaper.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, the 5-star ratings, and then I did notice an uptick when I hit the star seller
Mm-hmm.
badge. Some people say it doesn't matter.
Oh,
For
it
me,
does.
it made a difference. And people actually leaving reviews. Like when we ask you guys to leave comments on Saturday morning cartoons or something like that, those reviews on Etsy also make a difference because people will look at those and they'll order with you instead of another person with the same item. I specifically had people message me saying, I'm so glad I found your shop. I ordered this from somebody else and it was, this. They weren't happy with it at all. So they're ordering a second item, but they found my shop and they saw the good reviews and chose mine instead of another one that was out there. So reviews do matter, and being on time with shipping, and like Joey was saying, photos. You have to have good photos in there or people aren't going to look at it in the first place. So,
Yeah, that just to hit on that, all that tied in together is going to make you shine amongst all the other sellers out there. Responding to messages, all that, people, customer service. That's
yeah.
it. Customer service. If you can do good on that part, that's the biggest thing. I try to keep right on top of it. Like, I have the app on my phone. If I see something come through and I'm able to respond to it, I do it right then and there, and just
Yeah.
keep I had one recently that came through, and it was he entered his address into Etsy, and Etsy somehow reversed his address, and it got sent to the right town, but then they returned it to me, and I still haven't received it back. I don't know what happened. It's probably long lost and gone, right? And he reached out to me, and I said, well, look, I said, he said it was my fault and Etsy's fault. It wasn't yours. What can we do? And I said, well, I was, I have to eat it, right?
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
my mind, I got to eat it. So I said, look, I'm going to refund you your money, and I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to refund your money. But first, you go and rebuy it, and I will ship you one out tonight. And it's just a wash. I really lost because I've got one out there in the mail system that I lost. But for future, I made him happy, even though he was like, dude, I'll send you money. I said, no, man, because by the time the fees are added, and even if you send it to my PayPal, we're just spinning our wheels. I said, it is what it is. Just, I refunded him. He bought a new one, and I sent it right to him, and he was happy. I said, just remember me the next time you want one or you need something else. Please
And
come
give
to
me
my
10
store.
stars.
And leave
Yeah.
a good review.
And-
That's what I told him. Leave me a good review, and he went on there and did it right away. And then he messaged me the other day that he got his and he loved him, and et cetera, et cetera. So he's happy. I didn't make nothing on it. I actually lost, but hopefully in the future I'll gain more off of doing that from that one customer.
It's just like any other selling platform, whether you're walking into a store or doing it online, there's going to be customers that are going to take advantage. And then there's going to be customers that go out of their way to make it easy for you because they appreciate the service that you're providing. So you just have to, take the good with the bad and do the best that you can. Always try to provide that top level customer service. And
Yeah.
Luckily,
Yeah.
there's always somebody that's going to try to take advantage, and all you can do is eat it, and then fire them as a customer after.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all you can do. But go Jamie. Sorry.
I had one that I shipped to California, and the guy forgot it. He had an apartment and didn't put the letter on the apartment. He kept on telling me I did it wrong. I did this, and he left me this long, lengthy thing about how I did everything wrong. And come to find out, he didn't put his letter on his thing. The guy actually 2 days later it delivered it to him anyways, and I had already sent him another one. But I ate it. It was fine. But then he sent me an apology, sent me a review, how good I did, this, that, and the other. But he right off the bat, he just blamed me for him not putting his letter of his apartment number.
Yeah.
You know, just to
Yeah.
add a little bit, a lot of, just like when you go on, let's just say Amazon, and you're searching for an item and you look at the star reviews, right? And if it only has 1 or 2 stars, you're like, next.
1 or 2 reviews.
Right. Next, you know, so you got to kind of think of Etsy the same way. If you don't have a good rating and you don't have good reviews, most of the consumers out there are just going to bypass your store. I mean, like, yeah, because there's so many people. So you got to try to keep that good rating. I think that's one of the biggest things is keeping that good rating on your stores. So when people do come through there, they're like, oh, they look at all the reviews, everything. This store is doing good. So maybe I'll give them some business because, you know, again, so many people out there doing it.
Yeah.
What have you been trying to say, Jamie?
Yeah, what I was going to say
Um,
is there's a guy on YouTube that's actually got a series that people might actually be interested in called Zebrano Woodcrafts. He's done a whole series on Etsy and all that kind of stuff. And he actually made a point that reviews on Etsy are a big, big deal. Like one negative review can really, really affect someone's store. So
Yes.
you kind of have to be the bigger person sometimes and eat your losses sometimes.
Yeah.
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 But,
I got one
yeah,
4-star review and I was like, man,
oh man.
yeah.
man.
Did you forget to hit that last button?
But going back to the Amazon ones, like if you see things like the 5-star reviews on, say for argument's sake, Stir Stick, you plan on going and buy some of them, and all of a sudden you read from them, it's just 5-star reviews, and you read some of the reviews that this is the best armchair I've ever sat in. You probably be careful with that one. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Just
Yeah, if somebody gets a better review on a stir stick, I'm like, how do you mess up a stir stick, dude? Like, what are we doing?
I mean, I'm not gonna. I can't remember the company, but I've had companies reach out to me and ask me if I want to review products in exchange for a good review on Amazon. Yeah, and I'm like, no, sorry, can't do that. You know,
So that you know, and I'm gonna go off on a tangent here because I can see, and it's nothing against anybody, but I had an item returned one time because of the wrong address, another one, and I actually had to pay for it to get it back from the post office, and they told me, they said if you would have added the priority shipping, then we would have sent it right back to you, no cost. But since you didn't, now it costs us money to bring it back because of the insufficient address. So I had to pay, I paid shipping to send it. Then I had to pay shipping again to get that item back so that I could resend it and pay shipping again. So 3 times.
Wow.
And it wasn't even my fault because I'm at Etsy's mercy. When they put that address in there, that's what I'm shipping to.
Yep.
You know, and I never have figured out how to do that or whatever. Like there's nothing you can do. And since it didn't get delivered, now I got hit because it didn't get delivered. It wasn't
Yep.
delivered on time in the time frame that
Mhm.
that's allotted. So yeah, I mean, that's really the worst one that I've had that really cost me a lot. And
Yeah.
what do? You know, it hurts the pocketbook, but you know, nothing you can do about it. It happens.
Just keep rolling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can speak to
Yeah.
the quality part of it. So there's 100 people doing the same thing like what Joey's doing, those Trexel holders. There's a bunch of people doing it, and his are better, and his price is set to where he can make some money. Then it should take care of itself, because I know for myself, and I think everybody here too, if something has quality to it, we don't mind spending the extra money to get the one that's good.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the it's Jake Blank molds, and then underneath it says the best molds on the internet because it's part of the joke. But also, you want them to know these are the best. And there was, when I would go through and look, there's a bunch of cheap ones out there, but mine aren't cheap. So I'm just going to stick with my guns. I actually raised the price of them for Etsy because they have fees, and if they don't get bought, they don't get bought. I just stick to my guns.
And they're the best on the interwebs.
They are the best on the interwebs. But the flip side of that, if we're talking about websites, is, and I haven't really started on Etsy yet. And the reason why I did it was because I've had my website for a long time, and the people that watch the show and the people that support, they'll go and buy molds and blanks and stuff. But I've got very, very little sales from Google from searching for it. And it's because you're just at the mercy of, like, if you look up Yorkshire Grit, you look at the top when it comes up, they're all sponsored. They're all ads. They're all people that do the ads. Well, how can the small guy do the ads on Google all the time and make any money? You can't.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm doing it. I've had the site for a few years, and it works, and we run donations through there, and it serves a lot of purposes other than sales. But I think if you really want to get traffic, and I've studied this quite a bit in the last few weeks, is Etsy has its own algorithm, just like a YouTube video, or just like all of that, and it's easier to get traffic. And then because you have a good product, and then if you want to put some ads on it to get it going, then you can do that too. But I think Jen did the opposite. She was doing Etsy, and then she needs a place to do custom orders or a place for people to pay through. So she had to open up a new website with a donate button. So it's one of those, but you're going to have to send people there. No one's going to see it from the internet. So that's where you come into this. The websites aren't cheap.
No.
And especially when you go to commerce and you want to sell on there, then you add the email things. And so now it's hundreds and hundreds of dollars because you don't want to pay a fee on Etsy.
Yeah.
So what do you
just pay a fee there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
and then you're paying specialists that are going to set your SEO for you, and and try and get you that Google recognition. And there's still no guarantee that that's going to happen. Connie in the chat says she puts a little note card in with every order saying Etsy feedback would be appreciated, and she has 743 reviews. And that's pretty awesome.
Holy skulls!
That's awesome.
Batman.
Yeah.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah, the I shied away from the website, well, because I was trying to build it myself at one point, and then I got frustrated with it, and eventually I want to do one. But right now Etsy's doing good, and really, I'm justifying the Etsy fees and everything, and I'm not getting rich off of it, that's for sure. But I can't justify a website because a website's about $70 minimum a month at least to operate it.
I'm about $600 a year,
and I'm at $360 a year.
Yeah.
Okay, so depending on which platform,
yeah.
Okay, yeah, and the higher the ones that I was looking at, the higher you get, the more options. It's just like anything; it's an upsell.
Yeah.
So you pick and choose your poison on it. But to justify that when you don't make any sales, just to keep on paying that, that's the hard part. That's why I kind of leaned more to Etsy. Yeah, it does cost some money. They do charge you, but you have Etsy has the audience. It's there. Your stuff has the potential to get out there. But on the other part of that, if you have your website, you're paying your fees, and if they come there, the transactions and all that are going to be a lot smaller. If you can generate the sales to get to there, then you can justify it. I don't know. Everybody has their different thing, but at the same time, maybe using Etsy to send people that way may help.
That's how I got most of my traffic is from Etsy, and it came to my website because I put my website on every single post. and I sell it cheaper on my website than I do on Etsy.
So I don't know if this happened or not, but I sold a set of molds today, and I just put the Etsy sales up, but I don't recognize the name. But in one of the pictures on each one of the posts on Etsy, I put my sticker on there. I just put my sticker in the picture somewhere, so that person could have just went and looked it up and then go, "Oh, I can get it cheaper here," and they bought a set. So I don't know if that happened, but it was pretty good coincidence. If it
Quinky
was.
dink.
Yeah.
And some people will know. Some people know because
Yeah.
I've been asked, "Hey, do you want to do this on here, or do you want me to? Do you have a website?" You know, because I have been
Mhm.
sent messages, and I'm like, "No, I don't have a website. Just do it on here."
Right.
Right. For right now, it's more convenient. I could have gone through the whole deal. Well, send me your email. I'll send you a PayPal, request, and you can. But I was like, I got too many things going on to deal with it. Yeah, what is it going to be worth my time to save a couple of dollars? Not really. Go buy it on there. Put all your information. I'll get the order, and
Give
then
me a
I'll
review.
process it. Yeah,
Give me a
it's done.
review.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's one of the reasons I don't mind paying the Etsy fees is there is service behind that.
Mhm.
And, you know, they collect the taxes for me from in-state and they submit them directly to the state for me. So when
Right.
it's time for me to pay my state sales tax, they already have it from Etsy. I don't have to account for that and pay it. I just need to pay them whatever outside sales that
Yeah,
I've
that'd be
done.
nice.
Correct.
I really like that.
Yeah,
And then
that's
like
nice.
Joey's saying, everything's just right there. Fill out your information, tell me what you want, and I'll send it to you.
Yeah,
Mhm.
don't pay me the sales tax money. I'm gonna buy sandwiches with it. You know what I mean?
Now, I do like the website because I have more leeway and I could do the things that I want to do and customize it more. Like the main reason I did it was because I'm doing the classes now, and I can't put a class on
On
Etsy.
Etsy. Yeah.
So I needed to have a way to track that. One of the reasons for paying the extra for a separate website from Etsy. And again, I do need to go in and put the website on my Etsy listings, but I haven't transferred them all to the website yet. So
I wonder if you put your website name on there or try to direct them on there, if Etsy would penalize you for that, for trying to send them off site.
What I mean, the way I do it is, I mean, I think you looked at it yesterday, Jake. But at the bottom, I basically put my website on there, so it's just clickable. I don't go, hey, if you go here, it's cheaper. I heard that was a no, but I do put my website on there so they can click on it as one of my contacts, and it takes them over to the website right to the. It's not just to the website; it's also at the commerce page, so it's where all the items are. So.
yeah.
Can you not put your website as like a watermark on all of the pictures or something like that?
Well, and so Trey Studios out there says they don't penalize you, and he's seen it like that all the time. That like Matt has his on there, but is Etsy throttling him because he has it on there? Like you don't know. Like you might
won't
see
know.
it all the time, but is it
Yeah.
hurting that seller? I wouldn't know. So I just put a sticker in the picture. I just put a sticker in the picture, and hopefully it'll get by like that. I don't know. I guess you'd have to have
Yeah.
a before and after, like have your results before and then put your website in there and then see if you have less traffic to your site or your Etsy from that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can. I mean, there's ways to monitor like your stats on Etsy and see, like, you can see what kind of traffic you're getting through there daily, and then I don't know, maybe you put that on there and see if that drives down. I mean, they pretty much give you everything on there. I mean, you're seeing a bunch of different analytics of what's coming through that page, how if you're doing any sort of marketing, how that marketing's doing, if you're just spinning your wheels. Like I just shut 2 off a while ago, which I should have done a while back, but it is what it is. you want to try to sell it because I got a whole bunch of that stuff just sitting there and it's not going anywhere. It's not doing me any good. Now, on that hand, would a website be good to where I can then throw some advertisement and put it on sale to where I make a lot more and don't have to worry about these transaction fees? Maybe that would be a thing, right?
Mhm.
But you know, with Etsy, there's so many things that you could integrate. You can go to on your marketing, you can send stuff straight out to your Facebook, to your Instagram, to different platforms that you connect, and it'll actually put that post out there with a clickable link that'll drive that traffic yourself. And when Etsy does promotions, let's just say a link that you share, like right now, I don't know if it's still going on or not, Jen, but
Yeah, it ends tomorrow.
okay. So when they click, I've had some sales where they click my links and the fees are voided. They don't charge you the fees because you shared that link and that customer came through there off that link. So they waive all the fees.
Right.
So there's different incentives that they do throughout the year. You can run sales. It's easy to do the sales. I mean, there's just so many different things you can do. Add coupons, send coupons to people that liked your shop. It automatically does it to where it'll give them a 10% or whatever you set up to try to get them to buy. So I really think it doesn't take a lot of effort to do some of this stuff on Etsy. So in my mind, to me, it's worth what they're charging. You just got to price your stuff accordingly. Make sure that you have enough margin set in there. So if you do run a sale or whatever you do, that you're still going to make a little bit, even on like one of my items, if I sell one, I'm barely making any money. Like literally it's when they buy the bigger packages. So that's another thing, how you need to figure out how to market your stuff, how you want to set it up. If you want to set it up in packs, like you buy a 2-pack or a 3-pack or a 4-pack, and you give them a little bit more discount on each different size that they buy. And that I've seen that works very well for me on my track saw holders. My track saw track holders, that helps them out a lot because that's my biggest seller. I mean, that's what's got me into all this stuff behind me.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this about the website traffic. I just pulled it up, and at the beginning of last year, I paid someone around $1,000 to go through my site and SEO the whole thing. And then shortly after that, I paid another person to go in there and update the website into a newest version of it and then check the SEO. That was another $1,000. So what happened was I had around 600 visits to my site a month. And most of those are because we send them there from the YouTube channel.
Right.
So that's 600. And then once we did the SEO, it went down to like 400. And then it slowly climbed back up to 600. So the last few months, or the last month or so, we've had around 1,000, but that's because we're raising money for Make-A-Wish and we're sending people there to donate.
Right. So
did that $2,000 that I spent on experts to get my site to be seen by Google, did that do any good? I don't think so. So I'd rather pay the one that's gonna work. I mean, how many things could you sell in the time it would take to chew up that $2,000 in eBay or Etsy fees?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm at with the whole thing. You got to have traffic, and we can't just live off of what we send from the show.
Right.
Yeah. It definitely takes some work off of your part you got to get out there and push it. You got to push your stuff whichever way, whether it be paid promotion or something, but you got to do it. You can't just sit like Silent Bob in the back and expect your stuff to go, right?
Well, one of the things they say to do is do a blog. Well, I don't know what you guys are looking at, but I don't look like a dude that does blogs.
No.
I'm not that guy.
No.
So then what happens? You're going to pay somebody else to do it, and they don't even know what they're talking. They're not going to have the knowledge. So what?
Right.
You're just juggling